We're gonna go over 6 supplements that I consider to be the best for men. And what we're gonna do during this video is actually outline different supplements based on their benefits, how to take them, and some of the side effects that may take place. And I consider these supplements to be the best for men while taking into consideration, what do men want? They wanna have a great body composition. They wanna have good testosterone levels. They don't wanna take any supplements that may compromise their productivity or their focus. And I've probably taken over 100 supplements over the past 10 plus years, finding what works best for me. So these are my personal favorites, but of course I encourage you to have a healthy bit of skepticism. Your favorites may not be the same as mine. And the very first supplement would be Tongkat Ali. Now this is actually a herb. It's not a man-made supplement. It's naturally occurring, and individuals would use Tongkat Ali for the specific purpose of increasing their testosterone levels. And that's exactly what it does. From my experience in using Tongkat Ali, you can tell it's working within a few days. You have better strength in the gym. You feel like you recover a lot faster. Your sleep is better and deeper. You wake up feeling more refreshed than you typically are. And it's surprising because I never really thought that a natural testosterone boosting supplement could be that effective. But believe me that this stuff is so effective that there's even controversial videos out there as far as why you shouldn't be taking Tongkat Ali. There's anecdotes about people getting acne from using the supplement. Maybe the odd person actually experiencing hair loss. So you definitely want to do your research, but I'm somebody that really believes Tongkat Ali is a great supplement if you're looking to, again, boost your testosterone levels in a natural fashion. Unfortunately, we have plenty of research done to just illustrate how effective Tongkat Ali is. There's a lot of studies showing that it can not only increase testosterone levels, but also help with increase of fat-free mass, meaning more muscle on your body, help with your strength, but also with respect to cognition. We have research showing that it helps with things like anxiety and worrying. And if you do choose to take this supplement, a great practice is taking 200 milligrams per day. My favorite being the 2% urocominone version from Nootropics Depot. I'll take it typically with my largest meal of the day. I've talked more about how to take Tongkat Ali in this video over here. It's really important that you do take Tongkat Ali along with the meal. Otherwise, you're setting yourself up for some pretty negative side effects. And with respect to the side effects, the most common ones reported are feelings of nausea, headaches. Often you can actually feel like vomiting if you take too much of it and you don't take it along with the meal. So that's why it's highly recommended, again, that you ingest your Tongkat Ali with a meal, because then these side effects are in most cases going to be avoided. The second supplement I'd like to point out would be alpha GPC. Alpha GPC has been said to be the most bioavailable form of choline. Choline's a very important nutrient for the brain. It's responsible for helping you with things like thinking, learning, planning. I've always looked at alpha GPC kind of like restoring your energy levels. So if you imagine like a gas tank, what happens throughout the course of the day? You get fatigued. Your tank needs replenishing, and that's what you can potentially do with alpha GPC, because you find like you're not as mentally fatigued at the end of the day, so you can still be productive. So this isn't necessarily a supplement for body composition or for testosterone levels, although there is some research showing that alpha GPC can help with strength and help with force. It's more so a supplement around productivity, getting things done, staying in a motivated state. Yes, you can get choline through your diet. One egg yolk is going to contain about 150 milligrams of choline, but it's been said that once you cook the egg yolk, you're actually losing 2/3 of its choline content. There's different ways in which you can take choline. Of course, egg yolks, you have phosphatidylcholine, you have CDP choline, you have choline bitartrate, but alpha GPC has been said to be the most bioavailable version of choline. I typically start noticing alpha GPC working after a few days of use as well. It feels like my word recall is a little bit better. When I'm having conversations, I notice I'm a bit more articulate. I also feel a little bit more motivated, though it's nothing too extreme. It's not like taking caffeine, for example, and feeling euphoric. It's subtle, but it's effective. It doesn't matter when during the day you take it. I think somewhere in the morning or afternoon is probably going to be best, and you can consider increasing your dosage accordingly. I'm somebody that responds well to more choline, so I would take typically like 150 milligrams 3 times a day, but most individuals may not need that much. And there's actually some talk around alpha GPC potentially making it more easier for you to have a stroke, which is a bit concerning. I've talked more about some of the side effects of alpha GPC as well as that study in this video over here, but for most people, they actually respond fairly well to it, and that's the reason why we're starting to see alpha GPC in a lot of different nootropic and even pre-workout blends. The third supplement, this may be a little bit controversial, but it's going to be an adaptogen called Rhodiola rosea, which is actually a herbal supplement. There's a lot of great research done on Rhodiola rosea, not only for the cognitive benefits, but also with respect to fighting fatigue and potentially helping with anti-aging. And I've tried a lot of different adaptogens over the years, things like ashwagandha, bacopa monnieri, but what I had found with the other adaptogens was that they would demotivate you in most cases. Like you would use some ashwagandha and you'd feel tired, or you wouldn't get as much work done. Now I feel sort of like the opposite with Rhodiola rosea, because not only does it control my stress levels well, but also it makes it such that I'm re-energized for me to go about my day. So I'm pretty fortunate that I'm very sensitive to different supplements and different nootropics. And with Rhodiola rosea, I can ingest one capsule of 500 milligrams and suddenly feel recharged, feel like my mind's cleared up, feeling like I've almost had a nap. And the other supplements, it's like they could do that, but it would also compromise my productivity. And the number one thing which separates rhodiola rosea though is going to be fatigue. Like if you're thinking that you maybe are dehydrated, or maybe you're hungry, or maybe like even there's temperatures which you're not accustomed to and you can't perform as well as usual, you can ingest rhodiola rosea to pretty much eliminate the fatigue and still be productive. Where rhodiola rosea falls short is it's like a supplement where you don't necessarily feel smarter, you just feel that it recharges you. So for that reason, I've really found no point using it first thing in the morning. It's not like I need to eliminate fatigue first thing in the morning, since in most cases I'm waking up pretty refreshed. But I would use rhodiola rosea at a serving size of 500 milligrams once in the early afternoon and then again in the late afternoon, of course, just depending on what that day looks like and how much work I have to get done. And the side effects for me are pretty minimal. For some individuals, they experience headaches. It is slightly stimulating, so I would as well avoid taking it before bed. The fourth supplement is L-tyrosine. It is a fascinating compound because L-tyrosine is actually an amino acid that's found in chicken breast. It's found in egg whites. But the magic happens when you actually use this supplement independently. So you take the supplement either in a fasted state or away from any other amino acid. So that's not necessarily the same thing as getting your L-tyrosine through food. After a serving of L-tyrosine, you suddenly feel focused, you feel alert, you feel motivated. It's kind of similar to caffeine, but caffeine, of course, is known for having the side effects like keeping you up, like you getting jitters, you getting that uncomfortable brain fog feeling. But with L-tyrosine, let's say it's the end of the day, you want a little bit of a pick-me-up, but you don't want to take caffeine because you know it's going to mess with your sleep. You can instead have a serving of 500 or 750 milligrams of L-tyrosine and suddenly feel alert, motivated, and ready to go about your tasks. And there's research showing L-tyrosine can help with cognition, help with fatigue, also help with your workouts, and even fat loss. Also, L-tyrosine is a great supplement and a very common supplement to find in pre-workout formulas. And that's because when you pair L-tyrosine along with caffeine, it feels like the caffeine is just so much more effective, you're more energetic, and you have way more focus. So there's different ways in which you may want to consider using L-tyrosine. One, of course, is pre-workout. That's where I typically like using it. Or let's say it's later in the day, you want something that can help you with productivity and getting your focus up. You can use some L-tyrosine and you can go about accomplishing your tasks. And so if you're using it pre-workout, you can get away with using a little bit more, like 1 to 1.5 grams. That's how much I'm typically using. But if you're using it for productivity, then you can get away with a smaller amount, like 500 to 750 milligrams, because often when you use L-tyrosine, it's actually associated with headaches and a bit of nausea. For some reason, I don't respond well to the powder. I get headaches, but the capsule I can tolerate okay. And this is a supplement that hits you pretty fast. You just use it on an as need to basis. So if you feel the need to use L-tyrosine, use it. It's not like one of those supplements that you have to use every single day for you to start seeing a benefit with. The fifth supplement is going to be phenylparastam. I've used it probably 8 or 9 years. I absolutely love this nootropic supplement. You want to call it a supplement, you want to call it a nootropic, a stimulant. It's all of the above. Fortunately, there's not a lot of research, if any, done on phenylparastam, but I actually came across phenylparastam because I was looking for a supplement that I could use on days when I was very fatigued, or let's say a day when I was traveling and I just needed a lot of energy for me to get through that day. And I didn't want to resort to using something like Adderall or Concerta because I've had really bad experiences with ADHD-like compounds in the past. I've talked more about that in this video over here. And I found phenylparastam was the best supplement because I didn't have withdrawals the following day. And it did everything that I want as far as not only helping with my energy levels, but also with anxiety, also with stress. I find that when I'm using phenylparastam, I really don't need to take breaks, as unhealthy as that sounds. And that's because of the fact that I've got all this energy. So when I use phenylparastam, it's like even sitting down can be hard sometimes. And it's the closest thing that I found to using like an extended release caffeine. Imagine like a caffeine that worked the whole day. And the way that I use phenylparastam is taking 100 milligrams right under the tongue. I take it first thing in the morning, and I do that typically twice a week. And I make sure I don't put it on consecutive days because the day you have phenylparastam, often it will mess with your sleep. So the following day, you shouldn't really put too much work on yourself. When you're using phenylparastam, often your heart rate is a little bit higher than usual. So I'd be very careful using phenylparastam and exercising as well with it. But at the same time, you definitely feel more energy than you typically would have. So it's a great supplement to like bust through those PRs. And with respect to the side effects, anxiety, headaches, those are common, also insomnia. So of course, make sure you've done your research on phenylparastam, and I've talked more about it in this video over here. And the sixth supplement is going to be creatine. Creatine is a supplement which most individuals would look at a supplement that may help you with sports, help you with your body composition and building muscle. And while it does that, there's also cognitive benefits behind it. There's research actually showing that creatine may help you with cognition when you're in a sleep-deprived state. And I've definitely found that to be true. I feel a little bit more alert than typically. I find that I don't fatigue as fast mentally when I use creatine. But the warning around creatine is I would definitely recommend that if you do choose a supplement with it, increase your water consumption, because often what happens when you ingest creatine is you just feel dehydrated a lot faster. And if you don't drink enough water, you're going to feel fatigued, and then as a result, compromising productivity. I've been using creatine for probably the past 15 years, almost every single day. I haven't found a difference between taking more creatine versus less creatine. I also haven't found a difference taking taking it at different times during the day, I would just keep it super simple, 5 grams a day, stick with that, no need to take time off. There's a few great supplements that didn't quite make the list, but I still really believe that they're great for men. The first being Tribulus. Tribulus is a supplement that most individuals would actually use for boosting their testosterone levels. I found that with Tribulus, I'm in a better mood. Also, I have stronger joints. So I'm somebody that really enjoys a supplement, but most people unfortunately don't notice as much of an impact when they're using it. The second supplement that didn't quite make the list would be fish oil, just because I assume everyone's already taking it, or I hope they are. So make sure to take your fish oil. And with respect to a multivitamin, I would look at a multivitamin, which of course has vitamin D, vitamin B, magnesium, and any other vitamin or mineral that you feel that you may be short of. And if you want to learn about the worst supplements for men, I've talked about them in this video over here. I would love to know which other supplements you would add to this list. Make sure to comment below. Do subscribe if you found the video informative. And if you want to chat with me one-on-one, you can do so over on Patreon. And be sure to visit our Discord server. We have a 24/7 chat room. We're having a whole lot of fun. I thank you for your support and look forward to seeing you next time.